Shalom, 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 Yasha Allah, Israel. Hope everybody having a blessed new moon. Real quick, I do want to give a quick edification on the new moon. Alright, so first and foremost, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Alright, I'm going to start with Psalms 81. Shalom, Malak. Alright, so Psalms 81, verse 3. Shalakim, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 81, verse 3. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. So, right now, you know what I'm saying, I'm celebrating the new moon. And a lot of Israelites around the four corners are as well, right? It says blow up the trumpet in the new moon. That would be the shofar, or yeah, that would be the shofar. And whenever we blew trumpets in the ancient times, it was for war, and it was for glory as well. So with it being the new moon now, it says blow up the trumpets in the new moon in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. So this shows you that the new moon is an appointed time, and it's a solemn feast day, meaning it's a high holy day, right? Verse 4, for this was a statute for Israel and a law of the God of Jacob. So it's a law, it's a statute in Israel, you know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be celebrating the new moon. Now, I mean, they did it then, we're supposed to be doing it now, and we're going to be doing it in the kingdom, right? So, just to prove that real quick, and get it out of the way. Isaiah. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 66, verse 22. For as the new moon, Shalakim, for as the new heavens and the new earth, which I will make, shall remain before me, save the Lord Yahweh, so shall your seed and your name remain. So this will be the kingdom of heaven, right? The days after this kingdom is destroyed. Verse 23, and it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, save the Lord Yahweh. So in the kingdom of heaven, we still going to be celebrating the Sabbath, the new moon. We still going to be keeping the commandments, period. Verse 24, and they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of the men that have transgressed against me. For their worm shall not die, neither shall their fire be quenched, and they shall be an abhorring unto all flesh. So, all flesh is going to come worship before the Yahweh. And we're going to look down on the people that chose to be wicked, to stuck in their ways, that chose to be stuck in their ways and please their flesh. We're going to look down on them on these holy days. And it's going to be abhorring, but it's going to be more so glorious to know that we're not involved in that, to know that our hard work's paid off, to know that that could have been us, but it's not. All right. So that's just to show you that we still going to be keeping the commandments and the new moon and the kingdom of heaven. So it's imperative to keep the new moon. Right? Not just the Sabbath, but the new moon too. Let me get Numbers 10 and 10. This book of Numbers, chapter 10, verse 10. It says, also in the day of your gladness and your solemn days, and in the beginnings of your months, you shall blow with the trumpets over your burnt offerings and over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, that they may be to you for a memorial before your God. I am the Lord Yahweh, your God. So it's saying it again, the solemn day, the feast day, the holy day. It's talking about the new moon, right? It said also in the day of your gladness and your solemn days, and in the beginnings of your months. The beginning of your month will be the first day of the month. So the first day of the month is the new moon, right? That's what new stands for, beginning, right? replenishing, right? That's the new moon. All right, go in Sirach. Sirach. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 43 and verse 6. It says, He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. Right? So that's what the moon was created for. To serve so that we understand the seasons and so that we can declare the times, right? And the signs of the world. So the new moon is it's basically our calendar, right? How we keep up with our days. Right? And it tells you that in Genesis. Let me get that real quick. We'll come back to Sirach. It's the book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 14. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night. And let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. So the lights that's in the firmament of the heaven, those will be the stars, the moon, the sun, right? And that's how we determine, you know what I'm saying, when it's day and when it's night, based off the sun and the moon. And then it says, and let them be for signs and for seasons, for days and years. So that's our calendar. That's how we keep up with our feast days. You know what I'm saying? That's how we keep up with time, based off the moon and the stars in the heaven. All right, so let's go back to Sirach. That's Sirach chapter 43 and verse 6. He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. Verse 7. For the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. Right, so when the moon is in its perfection, that's when it's full. And when it's full, it must decrease in order for it to be back at its first stage again, which would be the beginning stage, the new moon. All right, I'm gonna read it again, and then I'm gonna show an example. It says, from the moon is the sign of feast. So feast days, you know what I'm saying? That's how we keep up with our feast days. And if it's a feast day, that means you must, in the ancient days, they made sacrifices and all that, and offerings. But, you know what I'm saying, we don't do that now. Now, these are feast days where we eat, you know what I'm saying, and enjoy our hard works and our labors for the Lord. Right? And it says, a light that decreases in her perfection. So the perfection would be when it's full. I can prove that real quick first, and then I'll give you an example. This Sirach, chapter 39 and verse 12. It says, yet have I more to say, which I have thought upon, for I am filled as the moon at the full. So when the moon is filled or when it's full, that's when it's a full moon. That's when it's, you know what I'm saying, at its peak. That's when it's at its perfection, right? That light is shining completely. That would be a new moon, right? So that's what it's talking about right here in Sirach 43 and verse 7. It says, for the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreases in her perfection, right? So because this is Esau's kingdom, and we just rehearsing the righteous acts to the best of our ability. So, this Colossians chapter 2, verse 16. It says, let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of an holy day or of the new moon or of the Sabbath days. Right? So, we're not supposed to judge people on how they keep their holy days, their new moons, their Sabbaths, because we in Esau's kingdom, you know what I'm saying? They wicked. Esau's wicked as hell, you know what I'm saying? They destroy, they change, they rob, steal, cheat, murder, kill. They do everything wicked under the sun. So we really can't trust them, you know what I'm saying? That's why it's Iraq 12 and 10, saying never trust our enemy. You can't trust these damn devils, man. This is exactly why right here. Because that's why we raised in our righteous acts, though. This Daniel chapter 7, verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand unto a time and times, and the divining of time. So the he that's speaking great words against the Most High, you know, it's the wicked, that's Esau, right? And it's their kingdom and everything. And it says, and he shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. So that's what they do, you know what I'm saying? They got the calendar all screwed up. They change the laws, you know what I'm saying? Homosexual, transgender, all that. They doing everything that's contrary to the Most High. Right? So you can't trust them. You gotta keep the feast days, holy days, Sabbath. 11. They that are delivered from the noise of the archers and the places of drawing water, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord Yahweh, even the righteous acts toward the inhabitants of the villages in Israel. Then shall the people of the Lord go down. Shalakia. Read it again. This Judges chapter 5, verse 11. It says, they that are delivered from the noise of the archers and the places of the drawing water, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord Yahweh, even the righteous acts towards the inhabitants of the villages in Israel. Then shall the people of the Lord Yahweh go down to the gates. Right, so, you know what I'm saying? That's us right now. We not in our own land. We rehearsing the righteous acts. Right? We practicing to make perfect, right? Like practice makes perfect. So we rehearsing the righteous acts. So based off these phases, you know what I'm saying, today would be the new moon. So the new moon is when it's completely dark. You know what I'm saying, this is the first stage. And then it starts, the light, it starts receiving light again. You know what I'm saying, got the young stage, got the waxing stage, waxing crescent stage, right? Then you got a half moon, call it a waxing quarter, right? It's the next phase. Make sure I'm following the thing right. And then it goes back. So the phases are, this is the new moon, completely dark, right? It goes through the phases, right, all the way to the full moon, and then they will have to go back through the same phases, right, to get a new moon, right? About 30 days. All right, so back in Sirach, the Sirach chapter 43 and verse 8, it says, the month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven. So the month will be whatever month it is. It said the month is called after her name. The month is called after the new moon, right? After it decreases from its perfection. See what I'm saying? Then it says, being an instrument. Shalakin. The month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing. Right, because when there's a new moon, the light must start increasing again. Now it's going through the phases. Just like I showed you right here. It's going through the phases, increasing again. And it's going to increase all the way till you get a full moon. Then that's to go backwards through the same process. And you get a new moon. So that's all it's saying. Verse 8, the month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven. Right? And that's it on that. So, me, you know what I'm saying, I keep the new moon when it's dark. I know it's camps out there that keep it when it's full, when it's light. But based off, you know what I'm saying, what we have, we gotta rehearse the righteous acts to the best of our ability. Understand? So, just to go in depth a little more on how to keep the new moon. It's Judith chapter 8 and verse 2. It says, and Manasseh was her husband of her tribe and kindred, who died in the barley harvest. Verse 3, for as he stood overseeing them that bound sheaves in the field, the heat came upon his head, and he fell on his bed, and died in the city of Bethulia. And they buried him with his fathers in the field between Dothaim and Balamo. So Manasseh had a heat stroke. Verse 4, so Judith was a widow in her house 3 years and 4 months. Verse 5, and she made her a tent upon the top of her house, and put on sackcloth upon her loins, and wear her widow's apparel. And she fasted all the days of her widowhood, save the ease of the Sabbaths, and the ease of the new moons, and the new moons, and the feasts, and the solemn days of the house of Israel. So Judah, she fasted every day but the holy days, and the feast days, the Sabbaths, and the new moons. So no fasting on the new moon, no fasting on Sabbath, no fasting on holy days, no fasting on Sabbath, holy days, feast days, solemn days, any day but those days, right? Because these are days that the Most High wants you to eat. You know what I'm saying, wants you to be at rest, enjoying your hard labors. Right? Second Chronicles. Second Chronicles chapter 2 and verse 4. It says, behold, I build a house to the name of the Lord Yahweh my God, to dedicate it to him, and to burn before him sweet incense, and for the continual shewbread, and for the burnt offering, morning and evening, on the Sabbaths, and on the new moons, and on the solemn feasts of the Lord Yahweh our God. This is an ordinance forever to Israel. So that's just to show you that we're going to be keeping the new moon forever. We're going to be keeping the Sabbaths, the feast days, forever. Right? And we're supposed to enjoy it because these are solemn feasts. We're supposed to eat. Right? You're not supposed to be fasting on these feast days. You're going off. You may not know it, but yeah, you're going off. These are solemn feast days. Right? Something else. Another thing. These feast days and the Sabbaths, the new moons, no buying and selling, just like the Sabbath. The new moon is the Sabbath of the Sabbaths. So you basically keep the new moon as if you would the Sabbath. Only difference, you could cook. Because it's a high holy day. So you can cook on the new moons. So it's Nehemiah chapter 10 verse 31. And the people of the land bring ware. And if the people of the land bring ware of any victuals on the Sabbath day to sell, that we will not buy it of them on the Sabbath or on the holy day. and that we would leave the 7th year in the exaction of every debt. Right? So no buying, no selling on the holy days or the Sabbaths. Right? Skip down verse 33. For the shewbread and for the continual meat offering and for the continual burnt offering of the Sabbaths, of the new moons, for the set feasts and for the holy things and for the sin offerings, to make an atonement for Israel and for all the work of the house of our God. So that's what our ancestors did. You know what I'm saying? They made burnt offerings. You know what I'm saying? They had meat offerings. You know what I'm saying? It was always food. And they dedicated to the Most High. And you know what I'm saying? We ate amongst each other. This is a feast day. So no buying and selling on new moons. But you want to try to do that within the 6 days. 6 days, you're supposed to make that time to do your buying, selling, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes to new moon, you can cook. So that's the only difference. Let me give y'all some examples. Exodus. This book of Exodus, chapter 16, verse 22. It says, and it came to pass that on the 6th day they gathered twice as much bread. So the 6th day, of course, would be, Friday, or Friday before the sun went down. It says 2 omers for 1 man. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. And he said unto them, this is that which the Lord Yahweh has said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord Yahweh. So tomorrow, it's saying tomorrow right here, which will be Friday sundown all the way Saturday sundown. It's the holy day of the Lord, which is the Sabbath. It says, bake that which ye will bake today, and seethe that ye will seethe, and that which remaineth overlay up for you to be kept unto the morning. So you gather all your food, you know what I'm saying? You do your shopping. You do all that the day before the Sabbath, before the sun go down. Right? It's talking about the Sabbath, though. It's not talking about the new moon. Verse 24, and they laid it up till the morning as Moses bade, and it did not stink, neither was there any worm therein. Right? Most High was with them because they've been obedient. They, you know what I'm saying? They doing things properly and in order. Verse 25, and Moses said, eat that today, for today is a Sabbath unto the Lord Yahweh. Today ye shall not find it in the field. 6 days ye shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath, in it there shall be none. So you just do all your gathering, your shopping, your buying, you know what I'm saying? You do all that the day before the Sabbath. Cooking too. But this is for the Sabbath, you know what I'm saying? You can cook on the new moon. This book of Exodus, chapter 35, verse 2. It says, 6 days shall work be done, but on the 7th day shall it be 6 days shall work be done, but on the 7th day there should be to you an holy day, a Sabbath of rest to the Lord Yahweh. Whosoever doeth work therein shall be put to death. So it's not a game. This keeping the Sabbath is serious. You're not supposed to do no work. Right? Back in the ancient days, if anyone was found doing work, they were put to death. That's why in Numbers 15, you got the story of one of the Hebrews gathering sticks on the Sabbath day, and they stoned him to death because it's not a game. It's not a game going against the Most High, and this is His holy day. Verse 3, it said, ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath day, right? So the Sabbath day, which is the 7th day of the week, you're not supposed to cook. But the feast days, which the new moon will be one of them, like the high holy day, the high holy days, the new moon will be one of them. It's okay to cook. But the Sabbath, you should not kindle no fire throughout your habitations. If you did, that, you know what I'm saying, that's similar to doing work. If you did back then, you were put to death. If you're doing it today, the Most High gonna put you to death. You know what I'm saying? One way or another. All right, yeah, Amos 8 and 4. book of Amos, chapter 8 and verse 4, it says, "Hear this, O ye that swallow up the needy, even to make the poor of the land to fail. Saying, when will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn, and the Sabbath, that we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small, and the shekel great, and falsifying the balances by deceit, that we may buy the poor for silver, and the needy for a pair of shoes, yea, and sell the refuse of the wheat." So that's another thing. When it comes to the feast days, the holy days, you shouldn't be counting on your fingers or looking at the clock every minute. Is it time yet? Is it over yet? You know what I'm saying? Is it over yet? I need it. Over yet? I need to go do some shopping. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be doing that. You're supposed to be in the spirit. You're supposed to be meditating. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be reading. You're supposed to be You're supposed to be in tune with His word, man. You shouldn't be looking at your clock every 5 minutes to see, you know what I'm saying, if the Sabbath is over, or, you know what I'm saying, the new moon is over. Right? Just so you can go do your shopping. Right? You're supposed to hallow. These days are hallowed. You're supposed to hallow these days, you know what I'm saying? You shouldn't want these days to end. Like, me personally, this is my favorite day of the week. The Sabbath and the new moons. Love it. Alright, so once again, for all the Hebrews, all the Israelites out there that's keeping the Shabbat, Shalakim, that's keeping the new moon, you know, happy new moon. And all the Hebrews that's not keeping it, you know what I'm saying, not to knock anything, we're not supposed to judge anyone how they keep their new moons. But that's just a little breakdown on my understanding on the new moon, right? So once again, happy new moon. And Israel, keep enduring these last days. Stay in the spirit, you know what I'm saying? Stay prayed up. And, you know what I'm saying, let's get this kingdom. So with that being said, all praises, all glory and honor due to the Father, Yahweh, by Hashem HaMashiach, Yahweh Shah, our King. Shalom.